It's incredibly exciting. We're very excited. To us, it feels a little bit like, the digital publishing is sort of the Viagra for the magazine industry, where everyone is excited about it. Everyone wants to try, but no one really knows how long the erection will last, which speaks a little bit to is it a hype, is it a fad? And it's exact same thing happened.
You're calling the magazine industry an old man, you know that.
Well, fairly old man. Yeah. Sorry, no personal offense.
It's cool.
So it's just, we read it only on the plane, and it's...
Yeah, I mean, I think the same excitement happened when the web started, getting popular 15 years ago, but it came along with the same skepticism, because publishers had to sort of handhold advertisers on how to do it, and we're seeing that happen again. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people talking about it, but there's not a lot of people from a client standpoint craving it yet, and I think we need to do it. And I mean, the advertising industry needs to do a better job at showing the potential of this creatively, conceptually, and obviously from a business standpoint.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think the change right now, I agree mostly with what you said, but is bigger than the changes we've seen with the web so far. The web is really so far the culmination of a lot of innovation around the personal computer revolution, and that reached a lot of people, hundreds of millions of people, and maybe up over 1 billion now. But this next stage of the revolution is really a mobile revolution. It's devices, and this is going to completely change the experience. And there's going to be a billion more people joining the internet, if you will, over the next about 2 years. And those people are largely not going to be using personal computers. And so it's really a shift in how people are interacting with this information. And I think that is an opportunity to rethink how you're packaging it and delivering it. And we're building off all the learning that we've had so far with interactivity on the web. But really, even that hasn't gone very far. Other than clicking on links, we haven't seen too much. We have little interactives that are kind of sidecars, to the main content. And that's been the learning ground, I think, for how we can do some of this stuff. But I think the opportunity is really to make that stuff mainstream, where the interactives, if you will, that is the content. Yeah. And maybe you'll have some static stuff around, but that's the transformation I think we could be going on to now. So what do you guys think so far? So you all basically said that this is early, that things are still rolling out. But what do you see as the best examples of digital publishing so far? In this very early stage.
Oh, it's obviously Vanity Fair. I mean,
yeah, hands down.
We all got paid to say that, so I'll say it to Vanity Fair.
All right.
Well, I should say somebody else. I think. I'm very happy with what we've done. I think I think a lot of brands have stayed true to their either print or web aesthetics and used the functionality that these tablets and expanded mobile devices brings. I think The Guardian has done a great job. I think Wired did a great job with its storytelling in changing the print publication to be more of a hybrid of the tablet version rather than the other way around.
Right.
I think, but there is great stuff on a grassroots thing. And the Swiss company Nives, the zine publishers, they do some really fun stuff on the iPad and the iPhone. And there's a great magazine called Letters to Jane.
What is it called?
Letters to Jane.
Okay.
One guy does the whole thing himself and coded it himself and put himself out there with the rest of the big guns, as it were. And that's exciting.
I think the truth is there really isn't very much. There's not a lot of good stuff out there in terms of exploiting this new platform that you're talking about. For two reasons. One, that there's been so much amazing energy put into, as you put it, kind of the last generation of the web, right? So my company represents scores of millions of audience members through hundreds, now thousands of sites. But most of those sites are, for better or for worse, blogs or services that feel bloggy in some way. And they are really talented people with very limited tools writing stories that just go tick, tick, tick down a page, right? And that is deeply lame as a way of creating value and audience engagement. Yet, tens of millions of people consume these, daily. And are really into them, like Boing Boing, right? Or Mashable, or TechCrunch, or Deuce, or Serious Eats. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But if you think of these as a creative execution of media, no, it's a WordPress blog, right? It's simple. And where it's going to go is that talent, which has put itself really into the expression of these very simple tools, is going to find that now it has better instruments to play with, and the music's going to get really rich. I don't think we're quite there yet, and the traditional companies like Vanity Fair and The Guardian and others are taking resources and investing heavily and saying, well, we're used to having big stages to play on, and now we're going to do it here. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you look at the folks behind, I don't know, Serious Eats, they don't have those kinds of assets. So they're waiting for the tools to get down to the garage level, right? Mm-hmm. So they can pick up the guitar and really make some cool music.
Yeah. Well, it's both a cost of the time we're in, but it's also a great opportunity because it is so early. We're having to build our own tools, our own infrastructure.
Yeah, if you were a musician today, instead of being an author, a creator, a publisher, you literally would have to build a studio. You'd have to build a place for people to sit and listen to your music. Then you'd have to build your instruments, and then you could play, right? Yeah. It's like, that's silly. Right. So we're almost there, right? You guys made an announcement yesterday that, I'm not a paid endorser, but that is going to help get us there, which is that you don't have to build 4 different places, right? So it's super exciting because I think it's just about to happen.
Well, the powerful thing for people who are kind of living on the bleeding edge here right now and finding these patterns is that we get to define the patterns. People who are coming after us and who are going to be publishing things will largely be following patterns we put in place over the next 5 years, I think. Yeah. So those of you who are defining these things are going to have a huge impact. And part of it's the infrastructure stuff, part of it's how will people consume these things, how will they buy them, all that stuff.